Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Talk. My name's Ryan, I'm the community manager for Brawl Stars, and I am so excited to tell you about everything that's coming in the next update. Today we have with us Lex.
How's it going?
And Coach Corey.
How you guys doing?
And I think these guys were really surprised when I told them what was coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I was quite shocked by such a massive change.
It's not quite what I was expecting, but it looks nice.
All right, the biggest change we have coming, Brawl Stars is moving from portrait to landscape. This is a huge change, and I think it blew your guys' minds when you saw it.
Yeah.
Definitely very surprised. What made you guys want to make that change?
So basically, when the game first came out, we thought that tap to move would be the really popular control choice. And we saw as time went by that joystick is really dominating. So we figured that the vast majority of players are now using joystick. Once we discovered that, we figured how can we make joystick the best it can be? And we found that landscape was the way to do it. It's more comfortable in your hands, it's easier for new players to pick up and play, and it just overall feels better.
Right, so now that tap to move, actually most tap is just gone, we went all in on the joystick.
Yep.
Have the controls changed?
So now there's dual joysticks. You have one on the left for movement and one on the right for shooting. There's also going to be an auto attack feature on the right thumbstick, which it's not easy mode.
Right.
What did you guys think about it?
No, I mean, it definitely works sometimes, but if you think you can just sit there and spam the auto attack, no, it doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah, there's certain situations where it's useful, but you're not always going to use it for sure. A lot of time you won't, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And also, since we're in landscape, the camera angle will be a little bit different. You can kind of see a little farther ahead of you, and of course, you get a wider view of the map.
Mm-hmm.
So now iPad users like myself, you can actually see the end of Piper's shot.
That's true.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of iPads, we've added a bit of a mask so that all devices, whether you're on an iPad Pro or on a smaller phone, will see the same amount of the map. Okay, so guys, you've played with the landscape version for a couple days. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
Honestly, my very first impression was it's not as easy, it's not quite as intuitive as it was before. It's going to take some getting used to. I think that we can get to that point, but if you're expecting to walk straight into it and be as good as you were before, there's going to be some adjustment period.
I think you're going to be a little bit less accurate, but of course everyone's on the same playing field. It's definitely going to be an adjustment period, but I do think it might be better for new players.
Right, so when I first saw it, it took me a few days to get used to it and get back to my normal level and warm up to it. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely not super easy to walk into. And again, the reason that we made this decision is partially for new players. We received some feedback that it is a little bit overwhelming the first time you open Brawl Stars, how to play, what to do, and this should make it easier for them to pick up.
Right.
So another really big change we have coming this update is that we're redoing the whole upgrade system again. And how this is going to work is basically, if you're familiar with Royale, it'll be very similar to that. Forget what you know about coins, and what's going to happen is you'll be able to upgrade your brawlers with power points and coins. This is a new resource with the old name. So you'll still have brawl boxes, and those will still be opened with something, not coins. Mm-hmm. And out of these brawl boxes, you'll get power points for specific brawlers, so you could get like 20 Colt power points or 30 Shelly power points, something like that, and you'll get some coins. Then, when you have enough of those, you can upgrade your brawler once with the power points and with the coins.
Right, so we're switching it all up again, but why are we changing it again?
Right, so very good question. Basically, we felt that with all of the pins, it was a little bit complicated, and you had a lot of choices to where to make those upgrades. I mean, there's tons, something like 18 pins per character multiplied all the way. With this new system, it's simpler, you get fewer, more meaningful upgrades, so you can actually feel that boost when you get an upgrade.
So if you want to specifically upgrade a certain brawler, how is that going to work this update?
Right, so they'll go from levels 1 to 10, and if you want to specifically go for Bull, for example, out of those brawl boxes, it will be kind of random what you get.
Okay.
So if you want to focus on Bull, what you can do is look in the shop, which will also be redone. And you can spend, say you don't have enough power points for Bull, you can spend a little bit of gold and get the power points you need.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you're picking up the power points in the shop if you don't have them out of the boxes. Besides power points, are there anything special in the shop that could be coming?
Definitely. So one really cool thing in the shop is if you're level 9, which is almost maxed, you'll be able to get a star power out of the shop, which is really cool. You don't have to wait for those to drop in the brawl boxes. They'll appear in the shop pretty often.
So what's going to happen to our current brawlers? How is that going to be converted over to this new system?
Right. So basically, right now, if you have, say, a maxed out brawler, it will be maxed out after the update, so you don't need to worry.
Okay.
Similarly, if you have a brawler with 30 points now, it'll be the equivalent after the update, so you don't need to worry.
So with our remaining tokens, if we want to upgrade one specific brawler, we should try to do that before the update, right?
Definitely. You're not going to lose those tokens, but if you're like on the verge, you really want to upgrade Bull, but you can't decide, do it now. That way you know that you'll get Bull upgraded.
So we haven't mentioned the elephant in the room yet. How are you guys feeling about global? How close do you think you're ready to do that?
Right, of course, that's the biggest question. This update will not have global launch, but I think we're starting to feel really good about Brawl Stars. And the reason that this update doesn't have it is because these are huge, huge changes.
Right.
We want to see how you guys react. We want to see what kind of players are enjoying it and who isn't before we can make a global launch decision.
Right.
Right, so that's definitely a big change. But what about, are there going to be any new brawlers? Are there new events?
So we don't have a new brawler coming this update. The upside of that is you don't have to save your boxes. You can decide if you want to spend them now or after. Reason for that being is right now our art team is really focusing on the character models and getting all of the current ones up to par. That way, if and when we decide to go global, we can make more skins, we can make them quickly, we can do a lot more. We don't want to be falling behind after we make a global launch decision. So we want to get all that work done now so that we're ready to go when the day comes.
Right. So there's no global, there's no new brawler, there's no new game mode. I'm gonna have to say, yeah. All kidding aside though, I know it's a lot of work, but over the past few months, what have you guys been doing to, getting ready? Is it mainly been spent on landscape or?
So landscape was a big part of it. Believe it or not, we had to redo the entire UI again for landscape mode because of course, everything being in vertical and switching to the side, all of the buttons, all of the menus, all of that had to be redone, which definitely took some time.
Yeah.
Of course, then we have to work on the game logic too, handling it to the side. The controls took us a lot of time, not only to build, but to test and to see what works, what doesn't, how they feel. We're still improving this every day. As we are sitting here filming this across the hall, they're still working on the controls and getting it ready.
Yeah.
So Ryan, what would you say are the priorities for the Brawl Stars dev team in the coming updates? What are you guys trying to add to the game?
Right, so after this update, looking farther down the road, replays and spectate mode is definitely something we want to accomplish. We're also looking at stuff like how we can improve the ladder, also what we can do with tournaments and esports. Also, we're definitely looking at social features, making it easier to invite your friends and play with them in game rooms.
So you just mentioned spectating and replays. Now that's not in this update, but were there some progress made on that?
Definitely. So we're feeling good about spectating and replays for the following update. This is a little more complicated to make than in our other games. For example, in Boom Beach or Clash, basically how it works is that it's not so much of a replay, but you drop the troops and the game records the coordinates of where they dropped, and then it plays the AI again for you.
Right.
With Brawl Stars, it's a little more difficult because there's no AI, and you have 6 characters with a lot of inputs. There's joysticks, which degree, what time they're shooting, all of this kind of stuff. So it's a bit more involved, but we're definitely making progress on it.
Good.
So Ryan, you mentioned tournaments and esports. This sounds really cool. So what is Brawl Stars' idea for esports?
I mean, I see huge potential in esports for Brawl Stars.
Awesome.
I don't have like a hard roadmap set of what it should be. I'm really looking to the community to see how you guys on YouTube and streamers take off with it, and then I would really love to support that and lift you guys up. I think we also want to have some kind of competition in-game at some point, but we haven't done a deep dive as to what that'll look like, how we can support it in-game, and what we can do with it.
Okay, so the Wild West theme is gone. Was that a conscious decision, or what have we moved into and why?
Yeah, so the Wild West theme is no more. The way that we're looking at the theme of Brawl Stars is that it might not be any specific one. So you might go to the gem mine and now you realize you're in this crystal mine underground, and then you may have another map that's completely different in the desert somewhere else. Maybe that one is Western, but Brawl Stars as a whole isn't any one of them. And one way to think about this, if you think of Mario Kart, they have Rainbow Road, for example, and then they have other maps that are entirely different. But you wouldn't say Mario Kart is Western because of that map.
Right.
Instead, it's a bunch of different themes that can all be incorporated into the game.
All right, so you wanted something that was generic enough to encompass the wide range of themes that is Brawl Stars.
Right, and there could be a Wild West in there, but that doesn't mean Brawl Stars is totally Wild West.
Right.
Right. So what about some other things you want to add to the game? Are you thinking about adding achievements or daily quests, something like that?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about a quest system as a team, and it's something we're really excited about. For us, achievements isn't really something that we're looking at right now. We think that, for example, an achievement saying get 10,000 kills with Shelly is kind of grindy, and it doesn't feel too fun to get. I really like the idea of having quests that rotate, that you can change, and it's an exciting thing like this week, what can I accomplish?
That'll be good.
All right, so that is a lot of big changes that are coming. I'm pretty interested to see how people are going to adapt and, kind of move towards this new landscape system.
Yeah, actually, I really like Landscape. It looks really nice. I'm enjoying playing it on a little more. I think it's going to take a little getting used to the controls, though.
Yeah.
Definitely, and I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on it. The update should be right around the corner. Keep an eye on Reddit, and please check out Lex and Coach Corey on YouTube. We will see you after the update.